You can't miss this next gentleman, though, because he is everywhere with his podcast. Is it still number one? I mean, we're coming for him. I know we're close.
Yeah,
that might have touched people, but we're right on their tails of both of them. But Joe Rogan had a guy on, as he tends to, who has said that he knows not just that UFOs have landed on Earth, but exactly how many and where they've landed. This guy's former CIA. And to your point, when we were talking before the show, and comment in wherever you're watching from here, it always seems these dopes are 30 years removed. I don't know if there's an NDA they have to sign or what. And when they get so specific on things, it makes their story unbelievable to me. You think it'd be the opposite?
I think that's we'll play a clip here from this, because I think a lot of us feel that, sure, there's probably something else out there in the universe. That's completely plausible. It's not crazy to think, and it's not too far of a stretch to say, well, maybe something's come and visited us. But the way this guy describes, now you said this guy is ex-CIA, is that right?
Yes, that is a former CIA scientist. Dr. Hal, his last name is Puthoff. Dr. Hal Puthoff, Puthoff. Mm-hmm. He's a physicist and electrical engineer who worked on the government's psychic, spy, and UFO research programs. Revealed on the Joe Rogan Experience podcast, U.S. military has recovered 10 crashed UFOs since 1940s. The 88-year-old, who is briefly connected to the Church of Scientology and has openly discussed his belief in the existence of extraterrestrials, was a former project leader for the CIA's remote viewing program, which taught mentally gifted individuals how to physically see distant objects and targets with their minds.
Yeah, so that was a big chunk of this interview, was saying that he enlisted the help of remote viewers who could see things on the planet. Well, so listen to the way, and it just bums me out, because it would be fascinating if we had proof that UFOs had visited us, and I kind of want it to be true, but I also just can't get on board with this guy.
Back to the question that you mentioned a little earlier, though, about, what's the source of this? Like I said, it's an embarrassment of riches. There's so much observation. The idea that it may be a scout coming by from some other planet and checking us out and heading off or whatever. They could be spacecraft from some other galaxy whipping through here. Or maybe there's some Atlantians left over from eons ago, and they're just kind of hiding out in the seabed or on some mountain range someplace. Or maybe some ET group showed up here 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 years ago, and they're hiding out with some bases locally and so on. And of course, we have a fellow by the name of a professor by the name of Masters.
That's too many groups that are still possibly here.
It feels too fanciful.
Correct.
Okay. He doesn't sound like a scientist. That's the thing that's bugging me. It doesn't sound like he's just saying, well, it might be Atlantians who used to be underwater, or maybe it just happens to be someone cruising by who wanted to check us out. It could be that. Joe Rogan goes on to ask, could it be from another dimension?
Could it be ET is what throws me off.
Right.
It's like, could it be a bunch of ETs? What?
Right.
Now come home.
Yeah, they kind of lost the ability to say E.T. after the movie E.T. came out.
Correct. So, maybe it's time travelers from the future coming back. And then there's the whole idea, since physicists like to talk about additional dimensions, maybe they come from another. So anyway, then in my ultra-terrestrials paper, I list everyone I can think of and say, we should be exploring all of these. So at this point, I would say we know it's NHI, non-human intelligence, but it's not clear what the source is. Maybe at a higher level of classification than I had access to, and maybe it's known.
Okay. I'm like you. I want to believe, but it's all over the place. It's like, it could be this, it could be that. And we know it's NIH, but NHI, non-human intelligence. Didn't know that was a thing.
No, I didn't know either. I mean, it sounds like the guy was just watching Saturday afternoon sci-fi movies and just saying things that he saw. Again, I'm sure he's got a nice background and all the credentials and pedigree that you need for this sort of thing. But it just doesn't. It sounds so bananas that it's making it hard for me to believe him.
Well, not only that, he goes on to say that he believes that perfectly intact UFOs have been left as quote unquote donations for humans around the globe to find and learn from. Right. So now we are the alien Salvation Army, I guess. I mean, they just dropped off and be like, here you go. You can pick that up if you'd like.
I mean, you notice at no point did either of us make that Joe Rogan face when he looks like he's just been told an amazing conspiracy.
That Nicolas Cage just stole the Declaration of Independence and has a map on the back of it. That's what he looks like right there. What?
Yeah.
And that guy's beating us in the ratings because he gets good guests like that. Like Dr. Puthoff.
Yeah, I'm fascinated. I'd love to hear more about it, but there's something about it that just does not ring believable to me.
No, I'm with you. I want to believe, but it's just the way he willy-nilly just threw out, to your point, all the different permutations does seem like a guy who just watched a bunch of movies and said, yeah, that could be it, or maybe that one, or maybe over there.
Yeah, I guess if Japanese claymation people could have invented it, 70 years ago, it doesn't qualify as a potential extraterrestrial. That's my statement, and I'm going to stand by that.
You never know. It could be Voltron, the Defenders of the Galaxy, just kind of, coming in. The Lions unite. There's a big robot that's in the sky. Could be Gundam Wing. We don't know. Could be Rogue. I'm just going through all my Saturday morning cartoons now.